Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely unpack the core mechanics, the distinct rulebooks, and the ultimate finish lines of four massive global belief systems. When you put the world's major faiths side by side, you start noticing these absolutely fascinating patterns and really striking contrasts that explain so much about human history.
Here is how we're going to break this down. First, Christianity, the salvation plan. Second, Islam, the final prophet. Third, Hinduism, the endless cycle. Fourth, Buddhism, the end of suffering. And finally, Part 5, the ultimate human quest.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1. Christianity, the salvation plan.
Christianity is currently the biggest religion on the planet. We're talking 2.4 billion followers spread across every single continent, from the massive cathedrals of the Vatican to small backyard churches in towns you've probably never even heard of. But despite that enormous global footprint, its core idea is actually incredibly simple. It comes down to this. There's one God. He had a son named Jesus. Jesus was born human, lived a short life teaching love and forgiveness, and then got nailed to a cross. Now, according to Christians, that wasn't a tragic execution, that was the whole plan. Jesus died to pay for every sin humanity had ever committed or ever would. 3 days later, he walked out of his tomb alive. The rule is basically this. Believe that story, accept him as your savior, and you go to heaven when you die. Don't believe it, and, well, your options get significantly worse.
The holy text for all of this is the Bible, split right down the middle. The Old Testament covers everything before Jesus, and the New Testament covers his life and what his followers built after he died. But here's where it gets messy. Christianity isn't really just one religion. It splintered centuries ago into Catholics, Protestants, Orthodox, and hundreds of smaller branches, with each one totally convinced the others got it slightly wrong. You've got the same Jesus, the same book, but wildly different rulebooks. Salvation comes through faith, but what that faith actually looks like depends entirely on which building you're standing in.
Moving on to Section 2, Islam, the final prophet.
Islam has 1.9 billion followers, and it actually shares a lot more historical DNA with Christianity than most people realize. They worship the exact same God. In fact, Allah is simply the Arabic word for God. They even trace the religion back through Abraham, the exact same guy that Jews and Christians claim as a founder.
The real difference is all about who came after Abraham. See, Islam doesn't reject Jesus at all, it just demotes him. For Muslims, Jesus is a highly respected prophet, but he's not the Messiah and he's not divine. Instead, Muslims believe Muhammad was the final prophet, just the last human God spoke through, and the clearest one. As you can guess, this slight but monumental shift in Jesus' resume is the part that makes the whole Christianity-Islam conversation a bit awkward historically.
What God said to Muhammad became the Quran, which Muslims consider to be God's direct, unedited word, preserved perfectly for 1,400 years. The faith itself is built on 5 rules called the 5 pillars. You declare there's one God and Muhammad is his prophet. You pray 5 times a day, give to charity, fast during Ramadan, and make the pilgrimage to Mecca once in your life if you can afford it. Follow those, stay righteous, and paradise is waiting.
Now we're making a massive pivot east for Section 3, Hinduism, the endless cycle.
Hinduism is the oldest major religion still alive today. It has no single founder, no single holy book, and no central leader telling you what to believe. It's less a religion and more a 4,000-year-old collection of philosophies that somehow hold together. There are thousands of gods: Vishnu, Shiva, Krishna, Ganesh, Lakshmi, the list keeps going. But here's the twist. Most Hindus will tell you all those gods are actually the same thing. Picture one massive ocean and thousands of waves. The waves look different, but it's the exact same water.
That same water, that single, ultimate reality that all those gods represent, is called Brahman. So, how does your life run in this system? It runs on karma. Every single action has a consequence, not just in this life, but in the next one. Good karma means a better rebirth. Bad karma, a worse one.
Because in Hinduism, you don't die and get judged just once. You die, come back. Die, come back. Over and over again. That endless cycle is called samsara, and believers are effectively locked in it.
This means the goal isn't actually heaven, it's escape. You want to break the cycle, dissolve back into Brahman, and reach moksha. That is the finish line. Total liberation, so you never have to come back again.
Which brings us to Section 4, Buddhism, the end of suffering.
Buddhism stands completely apart from almost every religion on this list for one massive reason. It has absolutely no God. None. It started with one guy, Siddhartha Gautama, a prince in ancient India who walked away from his palace, his family, and his entire life of luxury to figure out why people suffer. He sat under a tree for 49 days and finally came out with an answer.
He realized that suffering isn't random, it's caused by desire. You want things, you don't get them. Or you get them and you just want more. You're never fully satisfied. That constant craving is the literal engine of human misery. His solution was a structured framework called the Eightfold Path. It's highly specific, having the right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Live that way, and you start breaking the chain.
Follow that path diligently, and the end goal is nirvana. Now, nirvana isn't a place, it's not a paradise in the clouds. It is the complete escape from the cycle of rebirth by totally ceasing to exist as a separate wanting self. You stop wanting, you stop suffering. That is ultimate freedom.
Finally, Section 5, the ultimate human quest.
When we step back, it is wild to see how billions of people are engaging in the exact same fundamental human quest, just using vastly different maps to get there. Which leaves us with this final thought. Whether your specific finish line is heaven, paradise, moksha, or nirvana, what is the core fundamental thing that we are all ultimately trying to escape? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really hope it gave you a fresh perspective on these incredible worldviews.